Well, I just want to let folks know what we're doing here today. This is Nikki Howard. And
Hello, folks.
This is our first series of the Animated Human Web TV Songwriter Spotlight. And Nikki is our first guest, and very happy to have her here. So, we're going to move on. We're going to ask you a couple of questions, and you're going to have some answers.
I sure hope so.
All right. We're all looking for answers anyway. So.
I don't know if I can give those kinds of answers.
No. Well, so my first question is, when did you start singing and playing?
Singing, I can't remember, but playing, I was probably about 13. And I got a guitar off these guys at McDuff's Music Shop
Right on.
in Shrewsbury, Massachusetts.
piece
and no
of
longer
history. Yeah.
a little piece of history. I got a guitar that was far too big for me when I was about 13 off those guys for about $48. And Richie McDuff and Rich Bishop both gave me some cheat sheets. And living intermittently with my grandparents, I would go home with the guitar and some cheat sheets and learn the 3-chord hell that you can have one song and
So
Yeah.
what made you decide to go out and get a guitar and start playing?
I really wanted to play piano, and that was not an option.
You can't
So-
carry it around with you.
No,
either.
you can't carry it around. And although I did not know how far I would be carrying a guitar at that point, I thought maybe a guitar, because it seemed to me that, first of all, it was way cool to have a guitar. And if there was going to be something else I could do other than sing, I would have to learn something. And I was always fascinated with strings, period, anyway, And piano, really, although it's keys.
It's a stringed instrument, right? It's a string drum.
It is a string drum, yeah. You're right. Wow, that's a neat way of putting it, Brett. So that I don't remember when I started singing, though. Sing for the uncles.
Yeah. Well, I imagine it'd be shortly after you started playing because you'd want to do something with that, right?
I sang all over the place, though.
Prior to that.
Prior to that, I did a lot of stuff with different choral productions and by myself, and got in the solo thing, and had a little smoother voice back then, but it was a little folkier anyway. I had some folk experts that I was looking up to at the time, so.
I love your voice now. And
Thank you.
A
little smokier from the years of being smoky.
Smoky bar rooms. That was it.
I kind of like that there's no smoke in the bar rooms, to be honest.
So did you start writing songs then, too?
No. I copied everybody. And I used to have a little book of words, and it was more poetic stuff, little girl stuff about the trees and the bees and but never really thought about putting any of that stuff to music. And then I wrote a song for my dad about mowing the lawn. And
There you go.
and it kind of started from there. And it was a joke song and about my father being Mr. Pristine Lawn. And it just sort of started from there, how I didn't want him to pluck the dandelions, and I didn't want him to have to make everything so uniform. And
Right.
so, and other than that, I was probably, after I got my guitar, and I was able to put EDA, to the words I wrote for Dad.
Wow. So EDA is a guitar method.
It is, absolutely.
Okay.
EDA is, we call it the E-bomb in a few small circles that I grew up in. The E-bomb was always...
Well, that fits in with 3 chords and the truth. That's good.
That's true.
We like that. 3 chords and the truth. Truth anyway. Truth is good. So, and I think that comes out a lot in songwriting.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's hard to do anything but.
And I've never been, and you know what? At one point it probably irritated me, and I know it did. But now, I'm in a little box with my guitar. I don't have as much control over my left hand as I probably would like to. But I've learned to, like I've said on stage, I have an appreciation. We have an understanding, and it's gotten me into my 40s. And now that I'm okay with that, I can keep writing songs with the, limited.
And the capo.
And the capo. For those of you who know, in the music industry, it's called a cheat. It's a wonderful little cheat.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I've woken up some mornings and wished I could capo down.
Suppose you have to tune the whole guitar down and capo up would be another way to do it.
One way to do it.
It's very
yeah.
versatile.
So who are some of your influences?
Well,
I imagine that changes over time.
it changes. You're right, over time. But being a girl and being a woman being a girl at the time, I looked forward to any girls singing rock and roll, and so of course early on it was Ann and Nancy Wilson. But I'm not sure it was because they rocked or they were lyrical. I don't know why, but I think just because they were rockin' females.
Yeah.
But over the years, I mean, I love Lowell George and Robert Hunter and Joni Mitchell, and I mean, for songwriting capability and something that I can appreciate and almost, resemble at times. But I also like, I'm really liking this girl from the Ungrateful Bastards lately. I'm thinking she's a great little songwriter. Also, there's stage presence too, like Cyndi Lauper.
Right.
And you don't have to write a deep song. You can keep it topical, but have a stage presence is another thing that I like. But I think Lowell George and Neil Young and Robert Hunter would probably be my three. And Joni Mitchell, of course. Just her, I can't wrap my head around what she does, though. So you can always reach, but...
Well, can you tell us a little bit about your songwriting process?
It's always words before music, first of all. And I've heard it said the other way around. And once you have the music, then you have the words. But it's never come that way for me.
Yeah.
Words born out of, it's pretty topical. I don't get too deep. But, and then when I get the song in my head or the words down on paper, I try and think of how this is supposed to sound. I either have a darker, more minor side, or I go with the sevenths and funk it out a little bit on that, kind of a rock and country blues thing. But I've only written one semi-love song, and for the rest, it always comes with words, and it's whatever happened that day or how you feel as a person doing whatever you do. Being a mom or a wife or a teacher or a student or a daughter or a sister,
right?
And then the music comes along. Unfortunately, though, when I would love to probably do some kind of co-writing because when I have a song idea in my head and I go to put the music to it, it ends up being something completely different than what I actually thought about it sounding like. And I battle with that a lot. But I probably have enough songs to have a couple of albums, but I haven't put them all to music because that's where I get a little weak in the knees.
Well, you heard it here, folks. There's some opportunities abound.
I have no problem co-writing. You know what? I don't need to claim everything as my own. And if I have words and it says written by and music by, I'm fine with that. I don't need to suck up all the glory.
Oh, it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not for some people. But for me, it's obvious that I need, I would love to have that abilities, people. So come on in, see what I got. And
cool.
Yeah.